kind of start to get started, I'm sure I know a couple people said that they'd be trickling in a little bit late. And first I, of course, just want to, say thank you to all of you for coming out tonight. I think this might be the best turnout for a after-hour studio event, and I think that probably has something to do with the new equipment changes and all the things that I got you all riled up about a month ago. So I'm excited to tell you guys about all the changes that are going to be happening. Because I'm really thrilled with the direction that the franchise is headed, and some of the things that we're going to be doing as a studio in here. I think it's going to maximize all of your experience quite a bit. So I know that myself and Jackie, Rach, and the other trainers are really excited about it. With it being a big transitional time for the franchise as a whole, for our studio, I really wanted to talk to you guys a lot about what it really means being here and what this program stands for. I think that we're all very fortunate, all of you in this room are fortunate to have the opportunity to come to a place like this. There are a lot of people, obesity in America is a huge, huge problem. And not everyone has the ability to come to a place like this and have the type of support that we all try to provide for you and take advantage of our expertise and maximize it to get yourselves all in the healthiest place that you possibly can. And with the changes that we're making, I think it's a great time and a great opportunity to really re-examine why we're all here. Both us as a staff and all of you as the women that are in a select few that are able to come to a place like this. So again, thank you so much for all coming out. I know it's difficult to get here on weeknights for all of you that are moms and have jobs and have working lives. I appreciate it more than you know, coming out to hear me run my mouth tonight. Especially since I know that it is way more effective to have you sitting in front of me than to have you read my emails. If I put down more than 3 paragraphs, the iPhone screen stops scrolling after a while. So thank you again for being here. First things first, we're going to go over the new equipment and the changes that we're making there. A lot of you in this room have actually been with me for a couple years, if not 3. So a lot of you will remember the days where I was the only trainer here, and our workout was very, very rigid from our corporate structure in terms of we had really 8 lower body stations with 2 variations, 8 upper body stations with 2 variations, and we had a very rigid model. It worked, but clients that were here for the long haul quickly wanted more from the program, and safe to say we went out of the box pretty fast. So we as a studio have been doing way more than we were supposed to. Corporate would probably have my head if they saw some of my contraband and the things that we've brought in here, the bands and all the stuff that we like to torture you guys with. So we've been going outside of the box quite a bit, but the move to bring in both TRX training as well as kettlebell training is really going to allow us to maximize what we do on the floor as trainers and really enhance the experience that all of you guys have within your workouts. So I know that it's going to be able to keep things fresh, which is really important. Coming in here 3 times a week consistently and doing the same thing can get very monotonous. And it can get monotonous for us as trainers. We like to be able to get creative with you, do different things, and challenge you as much as we possibly can. So first things first, what's leaving? We are getting rid of this thing, the pec fly and rear delt machine. Many of you absolutely hate it. And we're very limited in what we can do with it. There are 2 movements that we can do with it, and it's not a great machine. So we're happy to get that out of here. The TRX training, I'll get to that in a second in terms of what that looks like and where it's probably going to go, which I'm not actually 100% sure of yet. But we're also going to be getting rid of the leg press machine in the back. I know that upset a couple of people because it's a rest. So we as trainers are happy to get you off of your tush and get you off the leg press machine. But it's just a very limiting machine as well, and it takes up a ton of space. So, you know, the two machines that we're getting rid of, I think, are the two machines that we can more than afford to not have in here. So excited to get those out of here. They will probably be out of here in the next few days. I'm waiting to hear back from the company that is paying me next to nothing to get them out of here. So those will be leaving in the next couple days. But as far as the TRX training is concerned, I don't know how many of you guys have seen it in action in another gym or have worked with them before. But you know, the TRX suspension training really utilizes, you know, gravity and body weight to, you know, do a ton of different movements. We can do hundreds of different things, both upper body and lower body, that are really full body movements and very dynamic, you know, that engage your core, and they're great for all different ability levels. All right, so we can challenge some of our rock star players that are really looking to get their butt kicked, you know, all the way to people with, you know, various injuries and different things that we obviously have to work around as trainers on a day-to-day basis. So it's a really cool piece of equipment. It's actually going to be mounted on one of the walls, which is why I have to get a contractor in here to find out where exactly we're going to put it and how it's going to, you know, where we're going to put it on the floor. So I'll play with a couple different options with them and see what makes the most sense. But it'll be suspended from the wall. It's two straps that, you know, we can hook hands into, feet into. You'll be doing push-ups and lunges and all different types of crazy things on our TRX Jackie's so excited. So, you know, that will be one aspect, and that's really replacing the pec fly rear delt machine, because typically that'll be two movements and two muscle groups that we really start to target and focus with the TRX. And at least that's corporate's thought in the process. I'm sure that our trainers will have some other creative ideas for what we can do with them. But as far as the kettlebells are concerned, just another great piece of equipment. We can do a ton of things here as well with the kettlebells. Really a lot of lower body, lower back, core movements that we can do with the kettlebells, and really just a great piece of equipment as well. And everything that we do on a leg press in terms of movements and ballistic stuff on there, we can do with the kettlebells as well. So really looking forward to those are the two big changes that you're going to see as far as what we're doing on the floor with equipment. We will also have another rack of dumbbells that are going to be coming in, which is going to be great because we'll have doubles of everything. We're actually going to have some other intermediate weights that are going to come in, and we won't have to be stumbling over each other to get to the racks, and you know, we'll be able to move around the floor a lot easier just having, you know, more of the equipment that we use on almost every set. So having the extra rack in here is going to be a blessing. We will have a BOSU type of piece of equipment that we will be doing a lot of plyometrics and things of that nature on. I know you ladies love leaving the ground. I'm the king of that. But it's just a really great piece of equipment. And a lot of the things that corporate is trying to do with the workout are really going to be to try and spice up the strength training portion and make that more cardiovascular oriented. We're going to do a lot of you know, multifunctional movements and different things with you guys. So we're really going to be looking to get your heart rates up in the strength training area as well, and really maximize what we do in the strength training area as much as we possibly can. One of the things that I was very disappointed to hear about us not getting, at least immediately, was the heart rate monitoring system that corporate had displayed with us when we were up there. There are a host of just logistical challenges. They piloted it in a couple studios, and it just became kind of a nightmare getting it set up every session that people were coming in, getting the information plugged in, clients coming in late, things of that nature, created a lot of logistical problems. So they're still looking at doing it. I'm hoping that it may be rolled out with some of our other software type of things that we're going to hopefully be getting by the fall in terms of online scheduling, which I know a lot of you guys will enjoy. QR codes for each of you so that when we're doing weigh-ins and things, we can just beep you right into a computer, and all of our numbers as far as weigh-ins will go right into an iPad, and I no longer have to plug them into spreadsheets, and Ray will no longer have to do that for me, and it'll just make me being able to track you all that much easier. So I'm really looking forward to that type of systematic stuff that takes a lot of the back end off of what we have to do on a day-to-day basis. So excited for all of that. Cardio changes. I've already started rolling that out on you. I know you guys love my new intervals and how we've been mixing that up. But that was one of the most immediate things that I loved. You know, is really mixing up your intervals. The monotony of cardio in here had really gotten to be a problem. You know, people walking out on cardio is going to be something we attack pretty drastically, but that's just one of the things that keeps cardio fresh for you too. And you know, doing different intervals, we have 9 different settings in terms of intervals that we can just press at the drop of a button. So we're going to have 9-week rotations here, and you know, we can have a different interval every week for 9 weeks. So by the time the 10th week rolls around, or I could change them every day if I see fit. So you just never really know what to expect from your cardio experience when you come into the gym. But intervals, regardless, are just the best way to really help build your metabolism, and that's really what we're focused on from a workout standpoint in here. So keeping you on your toes there, keeping that fresh. It's going to be exciting to just kind of get to play with you guys over there and really challenge you on the cardiovascular aspect as much as we are able to kind of dictate what goes on in there. Now we can kind of be able to touch on here in a little bit of a different way, and again, give you guys creative intervals and different things you can do with the different speed sets and time frames. Okay, so very cool.
Can we just find out, like, when we get here, what the interval is? 'Cause
You'll see.
Look at the clock.
Well, no, because the first time you changed it up, I must have had a heart attack and didn't know why. Like, I don't really pay attention to what the number is, I just listen to the bell, and I realized, hello.
Ask your local trainer upon arrival what the interval of the day is, and we'll happily disclose it with probably an evil grin on our faces when we tell you.
I liked it though. I didn't know what was going on, and then I realized. Then somebody told me like, "Oh, you changed interval," and I was like, "Oh, it really went a lot faster." Like I didn't. The timing. It didn't seem like 25 minutes. I felt like I'd only been there. For
I
15
like
minutes,
it,
so
but I just. You know,
Yeah, and what ends up happening, especially when you're really challenging yourself over there in the intervals, okay? It's supposed to be miserable, all right? If it's not miserable, we're not really doing an interval, right, Amanda? Okay. So, you know, really try and challenge yourself. And the funny thing is, when you really push yourself on cardio, you will be absolutely dying at the end, but I'd rather you be dying in 20 minutes than you be okay in 25. Okay, it's not that effective for you. It's not effective in the same way that we want your intervals to be. Okay, so really ask the trainers too, like, what should I be doing here? And we'll happily tell you what your intervals should be, and try and push yourself as hard as you possibly can. We want in your intervals, you know, 95 to 100% intensity. I see 70% intensity way more than I see anywhere close to 90-95%. And your cardio ends up going faster. It really does, because the next thing you know, it's interval time again. And again, I would rather see 20 minutes of great intervals than 25 minutes of, well, that was great, you know. Could have strolled around the block, yeah.
Can I ask you a question? So, what's the best way to know that you're actually hitting 95%?
You're going to be breathing pretty freaking heavy. Yeah, no, you're pretty much when you can't breathe. Yeah, that's pretty much close to it. And you know, again, don't be alarmed by that. You're not going to pass out in here, and if you do, we're not going to let that happen to you. You're going to stop yourself. Your body is you're not going to be able to push yourself past that point. And typically in a temperature-controlled environment, unlike the other night when we lost AC, you're just not going to run into the types of heat stroke and stuff that you're going to see when people are outside, dropping and keeling over. You're going to be able to push your body where it can go, and try and do that each interval. All right, really dig in, push yourself, and you'll know when you're not doing it. We can tell. So really do try and challenge yourself on the cardiovascular aspect of things. It's just going to maximize your hour and lend itself to better results and quicker metabolism speeds and things of that nature. So definitely try and push yourselves, and we'll do our part to make sure that happens. So we as trainers are actually going to be getting new workouts of the week. I get to send those out to you guys as of tomorrow. We're getting our first webinar. Corporate's going to be giving us the workouts. We're going to be getting cards at each station. I have never really been one to be a stickler on sticking exactly with the corporate model, because as our trainers, this is what we do, and it kind of upsets me when corporate tries to be very rigid. So we'll definitely be incorporating a lot of the corporate program, but I'm going to encourage the trainers to kind of flex their own muscle and do some of the things that they enjoy doing in the workouts. All right, so workout intensity was on this card here that I wrote for myself, but I think I kind of covered that already in terms of coming in here and really working out. We always say that 3 to 4 workouts a week is really all you need when nutrition is right. We'll talk about that a little bit, but coming in here and really giving 100%. I know it's hard. It's supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be easy. Sometimes we're tired. Sometimes we're stressed. Sometimes we got a lot going on. Sometimes it's hot outside. Sometimes there's a host of different things going on. But we as trainers try and bring all the energy that we have. I know Brett is the king of that already. But we're trying to fly around and make that workout as intense for you and as special for you every time you come in. And we really do thrive off of what we're getting from you guys. If we're not getting a ton of energy from you, it brings down the group, it brings down us as trainers, and we thrive off of the energy that we're getting from you. I know that a lot of you ladies look at us as motivators, but we really do just thrive off of your energy. We're educators, we're not motivators, and your level of energy and excitement to be here and things of that nature really do fuel us. So keep that in mind each time you come in, and think about the lady next to you. Because I see a ton of groups in here that develop an incredible type of energy. And the lady, Lorianne, and those groups that just, we got 5 seconds, ladies, let's push through the bell, let's really dig in. Those groups love coming. They can't imagine, you don't get that anywhere else. And that's one of the beauties of this model, is being able to work out with some of your peers. And women that are in the same exact situation and are facing some of the same exact things that you're facing. So just keep in mind that it's not just about you every time you come into this atmosphere, and it's not just about you every time that you schedule an appointment or call out for an appointment. It's about the other ladies that are trying to get into the gym, that are trying to bring that energy. Definitely think about the other ladies in here, because this is a small family, and I really do refer to you ladies as that. There are so many women in here that are more than just my clients. You're my friends, and I really do want to see all of you succeed. So that's pretty much it on the workout front, the happy front. Studio summer hours and scheduling. I've talked to a lot of you about this already. Summertime's in Ridgewood, boy. A lot of you get to go away for extended periods of time, are fortunate enough to have that luxury, a good portion of the studio, but we all tend to do family vacations, things of that nature. Kids are off of school. Teachers are no longer working. Schedules are changing drastically, and the summers tend to be relatively quiet as far as the day-to-day activities in here are concerned. So last year, kind of played with some things, kind of watched how it flowed, and just trying to maximize what we do as a business is going to be really important through these summer times. There's some other reasons why I'm making the scheduling changes that I am for the summer. mainly because I kind of want to see how it works going into the fall. But you know, the biggest change is going to be Sundays for the summer, starting on July 14th. Okay, I've talked to you a lot about this, to some of you about this that have permanent Sunday slots. I have more than enough flexibility with all of the vacations and things going on in here to accommodate people in various different spots. All right, so anybody that I haven't spoken to already about us not being open on Sundays, please come talk to me within the next week. Okay, I will help you get a spot that works for you, and I will work with you as much as possible. I am even looking at opening one of the 2 mornings that I train, opening up at 5:30 in the morning. I've already got some interest, believe it or not, and if I have to do it 2 days, I'll come in here 2 days at 5:30 to accommodate it for the summertime, just to see how it flows. But we should be able to work it. I've walked through the list. I know most of your schedules anyway, and some of the challenges that you have, and I'm not too worried about us being able to work it with the way things are looking. So, as I did last year, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to put the schedule out 4 weeks in advance as of July. Okay, so the entire month of July will be out there. And then when I do the weekly schedule each week, it'll just be 4 weeks. You know, so there'll be 4 weeks out there. So folks that are going on vacations that haven't gotten them on the vacation list yet, you'll just be able to cross yourselves out. It will take away some of the work for me getting the schedule out each week, and it'll also be able to have all of you that are really trying to adjust and move your schedules, you can do it ahead of time so that you can develop a plan, develop a rhythm for the summer, and it shouldn't be too much of a hassle to work that. Okay. You know, as far as there's a lot of you coming up for renewal in those months, July and August. Going forward, this is going to be something that is really going to be important for me in terms of how the just overall business and operations of this flow. Getting a letter out to you guys that are coming up for a renewal 3 to 4 weeks before that date, okay? Just because it becomes hellish for me, especially with all the training that I'm doing now, trying to land people and track you down and, you know, and hopefully catch up with you at a certain point, it just becomes too crazy. So I'm gonna take the time 3 to 4 weeks in advance. Everyone will know that they're coming up, and it'll just make that a lot easier for me. And please be proactive with me as well. You know, Brad, I know I'm coming up. We all kind of know when our anniversaries are, so you know, please come talk to me, and whatever our plan may be, we can get that figured out. Just so I don't have names dropping off the schedule when I'm trying to go that far out in advance. It makes it a big challenge, because then people whose permanent spots are supposed to be there, they're not there, they show up, the session's full, it becomes crazy. So I'm trying to be proactive with that will be a big help for me. So that will be huge. Dun dun dun.
Any questions?
Any questions on the scheduling stuff at all? No? Alrighty. So, accountability section of tonight, which is, you know, again, kind of what I alluded to, in the beginning of the speech. You know, this is, Get in Shape for Women is something that I fell in love with from the minute that I found out about the program 3 years ago. When I met Mike Okumian, the former owner here, before I even accepted the position, I went up to one of his cousin Glenn Nazarian studios, and got to observe what a Get in Shape for Women that was really run well was like. And one of the things that I absolutely loved about the program was this whole aspect of accountability. I mean, you see it on all of our cards, on all of our advertisements, and everything that we do. It's the component of our program that is not tangible. All right, we all understand what strength training is. We all understand what cardio is, and we all understand what nutrition is. But accountability is what really separates Get in Shape for Women from 1,000 different workout options that you all have. Okay, you know, from the bar method to going to New York Sports Club, to just attending the local gym, right? Going to the Y, taking classes, right? You can do 100 different things from a workout standpoint. Right? But we'll tell you as trainers, and some of the things I'm going to talk about here will prove that while the workout changes and everything that we're doing is well and good, okay, and it's going to be exciting, it's nothing without accountability. Because if you don't have someone that's challenging you to stay on track, stay motivated, stay consistent, 3 times a week is not going to do a thing. You know, and when you guys really start to think about it, you ladies, I know I get killed for that all the time, but when you ladies really start to think about it, 3 hours of your week is just not a lot of time. And even from a cardiovascular and workout standpoint, from a caloric standpoint, it's just not a lot, okay? But it is a lot, it becomes a lot more when you're doing the right things outside of the studio. And as much as I'm sure you all wish I could be right in your kitchen with you every day at 3:30, when the cravings hit, right, it's not realistic. So some of the systems and processes that Get in Shape for Women came up with and put into practice were really there to kind of help make that out of studio most of your week that you don't see me more effective and more important. And you know, I have to say that over the past 6 to 8 months, I have seen aspects of our accountability here as a studio really fall by the wayside. And I'm not somebody that really indulges in excuses, as you all know, and as I say all the time. But you know, back almost a year ago now, but 8 to 9 months ago was when we lost our lovable Brett, who many of you remember, who was just an awesome trainer and an awesome staff member, just a complete extension of myself on the floor, which was great. And we lost Kathy as well. So, you know, we lost about 60 hours worth of training time, and it was very unexpected. I really didn't think that I was going to lose Brett. I thought that he was going to be somebody who was my right-hand man, and he was going to kind of be here with me for the long haul. So I was very unprepared for that type of drastic hour reduction. And because I know it was such a change for all of you as well in terms of who you saw every day, it kind of just seemed like the right thing for me to do, to jump out here and start training with all of you. That's not the model, and there's a reason it isn't. You know, the manager has so many roles outside of training on the floor and different things that I have to do, that things out in there fell apart, and that's not an excuse. And that was kind of a reality for me, as you know, as these trainers will tell you, our shifts are grueling. You guys are in with us for about an hour, and you see us flying around like we're working out and demonstrating exercise. We do that for 5 hours nonstop, you know, typically without many opportunities to go to the bathroom, to get our snacks down, to do those types of things. So for me to do those types of shifts, you know, 6 in the morning, and I was going morning into night, night into day, you know, it just, I couldn't function after most of my shifts, you know, on the floor. To be perfectly honest with you, I couldn't go sit at my desk. We have oxygen masks on when we finish our shifts, you know, and to go sit down at a desk and, like, you know, try and, you know, get out emails, or, you know, even respond to inquiries into the studio and find the time to do those types of things, you know, became a great deal of a challenge. So, you know, I'm not using that as an excuse. You know, I'm going to talk a lot about my role here, but, you know, it was just one of those things that affected the accountability of this studio. And weigh-ins started to fall. You know, just a lot of different aspects, you know, really started to change. And, you know, that's what I really want to take a look at tonight and talk to you all about. The first things first, you know, I really want to, I gave all of you guys on page 2 a copy of our most recent 12-week challenge. Now, to give you ladies some idea, we have roughly about 155 members here at our studio. At this point, we kind of fluctuate between there and 165 at any given time now, which is down from where I operated the studio for 2 years. And that was a sign to me that things were not right as well, because we never wavered in terms of where our numbers were. You know, we were 175, 180, and that's why we had the extended hours. Really, that's why we opened Sundays at the point that we did it. We had 175 members in here. We couldn't, and all the inquiries, we couldn't put anybody anywhere. So we opened Sundays. I was against it at the time because I knew that 7-day work weeks after coming out of my restaurant with my father, you know, no day of rest, it becomes an extreme challenge. But our former owner was for it, I was against it, and you know, now with our studio numbers where they are, that's another reason why the Sunday thing is something that I'm really, really looking at, because from the accountability of making sessions, it has become so flexible that the importance of showing up for workouts has gone down. And when you know that you can just pretty much get in the schedule whenever you want, you know, people have kind of started to take that for granted. And it's human nature. When you get handed an inch, you know, it can take a mile. But that's another reason why I'm really looking at the Sunday thing in terms of placing our emphasis back on the appointments. And you know, if you guys impress me over the summer, I will be more than happy to bring them back. And I'll train them myself. I don't care. But I'm just really looking at that from both an accountability aspect and an overall numbers aspect of the studio. But anyway, as I was starting out saying, there are about 160 women in here. We had roughly 55 of you ladies that signed up for our 12-week challenge. All of which set out on that challenge with the goal of putting together the best 12 weeks possible. The challenge just wrapped yesterday. It was really the last day of weigh-ins since May. And I got an email from corporate asking me to submit my studio winner. And I've been watching the numbers over the course of the 12 weeks. We've been posting leaderboards over there. But, you know, as you're all going to see, the numbers that I got from this 12-week challenge are so indicative of kind of what I feel is going on in here. When you look at the top of our leaderboard, our winner of our studio, we only had one person that was in double digits in 12 weeks. That's telling you something. And the crazy part about her weight loss, I don't have her name here, she did it in the first 3. First 3 weeks, okay? There was weight to lose, but all 12 of those pounds were lost in the first 3 weeks when she was really, really focused. Then she didn't even weigh anything. Right? So outside of our #1 person, you start going down this list. In the first 15 members of our top 25 only lost 2% of the overall body weight, or the second 15 of our top 25. And the first 3, any of the higher numbers here, 6, 4, 7, it was 3% of overall body weight. So, you know, just not very good. But the more alarming thing is that 30 of these 53 women lost less than 1 pound or gained weight in 12 weeks. 12 weeks that we were supposed to be focused. That's not good. And, you know, corporate tells us that we're supposed to shoot for 25% success rate. That's not okay with me. You know, I'm not a 25%er. I've never really been in my life. And this isn't even 25% results. I mean, that's just bad. I mean, that's no semblance of what we're supposed to be doing, and the commitment that we all made, and the commitment that I made to you. And that's why numbers are slipping, and that's why, you know, women get to the end of your term here and say, well, this isn't worth it, right? You can go up to New York Sports Club and spend way less money and do nothing, you know, really, or go the opposite direction. All right, well, if we maintain, okay, I could at least say, you know what, if we weren't here, we're probably going to be going in the other direction, so at least we're maintaining, right? But for that many of our ladies that entered this challenge, and most of the zeros that you see are just because we don't even have weigh-ins after the first day. And going through these binders here, I brought them out. I was going to start going through one. When I start looking at the last weigh-ins for people being 6 months ago, a year ago, 3 months ago, you know, when there's not two of us in here, or when I'm not in my office able to jump out for a weigh-in for you ladies, it's really hard on the trainer unless you tell us. It's my weigh-in day. We have 4 weigh-in days, right? So everyone's final day of their week is supposed to be their weigh-in day. Now, we have to do a better job, and I'm going to take a lot of accountability here. All right, and that's where I'm going next. But you know, you guys gotta want it. You gotta want to be weighed, okay? Because the only thing that happens when people don't want to be weighed, right? You guys know, it wasn't good out there.
Or it was real good out there.
Or it was good.
For safety.
Too good out there.
You know, kind of depends on how you're looking at it, right? But and I've been soft. I've been soft. Oh, Brad, please not today. Please not today. Please. But I went out last night. Yeah. You did. Own it. Own it. Because I got to tell you something. A lot of these ladies here, right? It's what happens when we all get stuck in a rut. Okay? You want to avoid the reality of it like the plague, right? But the simple fact of the matter is even if you don't care about what's going on, and I'm going to pose a question in a second, but even if you're somebody who, I don't really care, I'm happy with where I am, right? There's one of two things happening. You're going up or you're going down. There's really no such thing as staying the same. Not for very long anyway. All right, especially when you're not focused on it. Okay? It's fine to stay the same if you're focused on it. But most of what's happening is that people, you know, I see weight go up for some folks after they haven't weighed in for 6 months, 9 pounds. Right? Like, there's a reason. That rut is going to stop a whole hell of a lot faster if you're on there every week. Because you're going to watch the numbers. And it's not, I don't even have to say a word. It's just going to be like, okay, you're okay with this? And no, none of you are going to be.
I was just going to add something. When I joined Mike Okanomian was the person I met with. And I remember he almost made it seem like he was going to think about whether or not I qualified as a member here. But it was interesting because to your point, it's like if we aren't committed as much as you are, you know.
Did you steal my note card?
You know, I could have been turned away. I mean, based on my commitment at that level.
One of the things that I stopped doing, all right, that was a Mike Okumian, Glenn Nazarian, I'm sharing this with all of you, you're already members. It was a sales ploy, typically, right? But when I started here, really believed it, right? Because we only have 160 spots here. So realistically, we really can't accept everyone. And it really wasn't all about the sales. It was really about how the whole experience here was laid out and set up. I don't want you to come unless you want to give it 100%. Unless you want to commit to making sure you get weighed every week. right? Because that's what's going to get you results. And that's why, you know, when we first started, it was a whole hell of a lot easier for us too then when we only had 60 members, right? Because sometimes we wouldn't have sessions. I or myself or Mike would sit in that room with people getting weighed in for 5-10 minutes at a time, okay? So, you know, that had something to do with it too. But it was really all about how it was set up. And, you know, really just being sure that, you know, hell, I realize that it's an expensive endeavor. But when you really get results here, it's not. It's really not. You know, you start talking about personal training at $50 to $60 per session. Women can't see their trainer 3 times a week for what you guys get to see us. The nutrition support, the accountability. I'm willing to sit down with anyone. I've sat down with each and every one of you for an hour to an hour and a half to talk about the nutrition. You know, and I'm willing to do it whenever you want my time. For $20 a session? You know, and corporate just raised the prices because typically when a studio is we are giving that away. $21 is not that crazy for the type of support that I'm willing to give and that Jackie is willing to give. You know, we'll go do races with you guys on the weekends and we'll challenge you in every way possible. No personal trainer is doing that for $20 a session. Okay? And personal trainers in the city are making upwards of $100 per session. So you really start to look at it, and you know, we cut the bottle of wine out a week, and we can start pinching $40 each week pretty easily, right? And I guarantee you, there's some women in here that have had fantastic results tonight, and I guarantee, and that have been with me for a very long time, and if they do it because it works for them, then they're the women that are in my weigh-in room every week. I don't have to worry about it. They'll weigh themselves in. They'll put their numbers down. And, well, that goes to show you something, right? It goes to show you that when you actually do it, it really works. Okay? But you can't go 50%. You can't go 25%. It's got to be 100. It's got to be important. Yo.
Okay, so I have a question about the actual weigh-ins, because I still don't know how to use that scale.
I like it that way.
And, no, that's fine, I actually don't mind, but a lot of time I end up feeling like I don't want to bother somebody who's training, because the sessions tend to overlap, and there's never actually that 5 minute there's supposed to be between each one. Because, and I appreciate it, because you guys don't want people to miss out on their workouts, but then when that 5 minutes isn't there really isn't time to do weigh-ins, and I always feel like I'm having to drag somebody off the floor to do a weigh-in, and I don't like doing that, because it's obvious that there's no time for that. So when is that actually supposed to happen?
Well, a couple things are going to happen.
And I'll touch on that in a second, Ariel. It's a problem. You know, a lot of you ladies do know how to use the scale, so you can help each other, number one. But we'll kind of get into to me right now, because I just been talking and I covered every bullet on my note, so that was a good thing. But this whole accountability thing is a two-way street. I'm not sitting here, and one of the reasons that I wanted to have all of you guys come in and just hear it from my mouth is because, you know, there have been, especially you ladies that have been here for a while, there have been a couple emails that have been sent out. You know, I used to do them almost quarterly, it felt like. Kind of talking about all the same things, but for some odd reason, whenever it comes out in writing, it can really be taken the wrong way or not read at all. But I want to just first take a lot of the responsibility for the lack of accountability in here. It all rests on me, and I'm not happy with the job that I've done. I'm responsible for my staff. So I'm going to sit here and point the finger at myself and take blame for what I can control. And, you know, the interesting thing is my dad gave me an article that I'm going to read really quickly and definitely try and make it quick. But that really hit home for me, and I think that it just summed up so much of what was actually going on with you. And it was an article that he gave me about who pulls your boots up in business. You know, my dad has kind of been somebody that I go to a lot to talk to about entrepreneurial things and business sides of things, because especially being as young as I am, there's still a lot for me to learn, and I'm learning it on the job as I go. And it was an article that he gave me about accountability. And I'll just read it real quick. If you ask successful business owners to share some of their success secrets, almost all of them will mention that they had help along the way. It could have been from a colleague, a mentor, a coach, or a mastermind group. The type of help and who it is not from nearly as important as the fact that the business owner sought and received guidance in some form. The successful business owners who found their way completely on their own with no outside support or guidance whatsoever are either not telling the truth or really took the long, hard path to where they get where they are. Accountability is key to success in business. Regardless of the form accountability and support takes, it will help move us forward and make us a better business owner. Being accountable to a colleague, a mastermind group, or a business coach is a great way to stay on track. Studies show that business owners and individuals in general achieve success more frequently when they set up accountability checks for themselves. But do you just let anyone mentor or guide you? Heck no. Think carefully who you will let into the inner sanctum of your business. First, they need to be trustworthy, as you will be revealing a lot of personal and professional information to them. Second, they must be non-judgmental, so that you are not made to feel insecure or inferior. Third, they must truly be non-competitive, so that you are not worried about when your best stuff ends up on their website. And fourth, they must have your best interests at heart. Another factor to consider: are they at the same level of business you are or higher? Cultivating business relationships is like playing tennis. If you play with people who are better than you, your game will improve. Swanson. If you associate with people at your level or below, your game will plateau and there's no forward motion. The people you're brainstorming and collaborating with should truly add something to your business and vice versa. And that's pretty much it. You know, there's so much of that applied to me because I don't have anyone to be accountable to. So realistically, if I don't want to show up at work, I don't have to, right? And for someone, and most individuals my age, that can be very dangerous. And I have to say that for me, I've been here since the studio's inception. And for the first year that we were here, I worked every shift. Once I became the manager, I was pulling 60 to 70, 80-hour weeks, depending on the week. I was pouring my heart and my soul into this place. And that's when we were at our most successful. But it is so hard to do what we do every day, going back to what I was talking about before, when there's no reciprocation on the other end. And that's what the 12-week challenge meant to me. And I'm here to make an admission to all of you that honestly, in the last 6 to 8 months of me killing myself, I have been in a really bad rut. And it has affected my personal life. It has affected my workout life, myself. It's affected my nutrition. I've been stressed. And it's really, really hard to come in every day and be a motivating, inspiring person for all of you when I feel the way I've been feeling. It's really hard. And I'm going through a difficult situation right now, and I'm sharing all of that with you guys at home, because at the end of the day, I can be accountable to all of you the same way you can be accountable to me. And I already told you that you're my family. And I'm happy to tell you things about my personal life and what's going on with me so that I can be a better boss, I can be a better leader, and I'm not going to allow what's been going on to continue. We're going to get back to what Get in Shape for Women really means. And I'm almost willing to lose people if I have to rebuild the culture of being accepted here. because I stopped saying it. I had one woman get rubbed the wrong way because we said we didn't accept everyone, and I immediately started to change my script, if you will, when I answered the phone and someone inquired. I used to have conviction when I said it, and I started to doubt it. And the fact that we had so many women in here, I didn't feel like I needed to do it. So I changed my script. And I started telling people, well, you know, we're supposed to say that we don't accept everybody, but I started to deflect it and say, well, it's really up to you. If you just tell me you're committed, I'll believe you. Well, that doesn't work all that well.
You said that to me.
Right? Well, you.
But you were committed.
But right, you know, you maybe 1 out of 10 will get the message. The environment will be enough, and you know, maybe that's the 10% success that we're getting. You know, I don't know. But the important thing really is that for my own well-being at this point, and for all of you to love this, and you know, the amount of referrals that come through my office now, they're not as high. And that's because when